moving on, and to a story that ties into, Stephen, a little bit of what you were saying. The Huffington Post thinks it has a secret weapon to help Biden defeat Trump, and it involves spreading fake clips. They report it's time for the Biden campaign to embrace AI. The stakes of the 2024 presidential election cannot be overstated. With Donald Trump promising to act as a dictator on day one, it's not hyperbolic to say the future of American democracy hangs in the balance. And what does the Huffington Post think Democrats should do to stop Trump? Well, AI augmentations and video rendering could serve to smooth out these bumps while allowing the Biden campaign to effectively disseminate true information about the state of our democracy and the Biden administration's accomplishments. Let's bring the panel back in. Darren, this was one of the more disturbing and insane articles that I have read about a good way to use AI. I thought deepfakes was something that we were all supposed to be terrified about. You have a mainstream, legitimate organisation advocating for AI to doctor the president to ensure that he retains power.
It's really shocking. I mean, the events of the past week have exposed the depth of the deception and disregard that parts of the media have for their basic duty, and these, what they're saying really is on a par with, you know, the controversy and the hype around a story like seeking to overturn an election result. It's on a par with that in terms of its contempt for the democratic process and the craft of journalism and reporting facts. It's completely shocking and unbelievable. There was a recent survey actually by Pew Research Center in the US, and I'll just glance down now at my phone. I had a look at this earlier. On the question of journalists should always strive to give every side equal coverage, US journalists, 44% of them voted that they should, whereas US adults, 76%. So US journalists are more likely than the public to say all sides don't deserve equal coverage. That was a survey that came out in March of last year.
And Stephen, I think you're absolutely spot on about the differences between the Australian media system, the American media system. Access, it's so important. It's something that they don't have. And that, I think, is where you get these notions about this, you know, AI should polish Joe Biden. They're almost allowing this very vital aspect of journalism to be sacrificed because the alternative they think is so worse. But I mean, that's not good for democracy, is it?
No, it's not. But you've got to remember, these are the very same people that's saying if Donald Trump is democratically elected, that will be the end of democracy. I mean, the very statement in itself is ludicrous. But, you know, going back to the AI, I think there's enough artificial intelligence going on in the Biden camp without AI renderings, etc. I mean, did anybody watch the debate? There wasn't a lot of real intelligence going on there, that's for sure. And, you know, this building behind me shows that quite often as well. But look, it's just it's gotten embarrassing now to the point where, as I say, they have become actors in the play and they are playing their parts right up to the very end, and it's now gotten to the point where they can't even trust their scripts anymore, and that's why they're very, very angry about this. But what I found the most extraordinary out of all is some of the emotional reporting on it. Like Van Jones was nearly in tears saying, I love this man, he's a good man. And I'm thinking, did you not see him 30, 40 years ago when he first, you know, was around as a senator? You had the people on the women on The Voice saying the country's in mourning now, we're all in mourning after that debate. I mean, this is politics. I mean, this is the game, and if your bloke's not up to it, well, you need to find another bloke. I mean, or woman, as it might turn out. But I sometimes rail at how the media here in Australia operates, but the US, well, we've got nothing on them. They are a whole different kind of circus.
Yeah, it's brilliant. There's this slogan that's floating around that a vote for Trump is a vote against democracy, to your earlier point. And I don't understand how a vote for anyone could be a vote against democracy. That is democracy. But look, moving on, there was a bit of tension in yesterday's press briefing, and one reporter got scolded for pointing out that Joe Biden sometimes falls asleep.
And I'm sharing with you his view.
And we would invite the president to come here and tell us that directly.
Noted, Kelly.
But
he's awake.
That's inappropriate.
As you heard from your colleague, the president of the WHA, that's inappropriate. Thank you, Kelly.
Darren, there's obviously a little bit of disagreement. That reporter who scolded the Newsmax reporter that made that comment, she's getting a little bit of a flack on Twitter and everything, calling it a bit of a Karen moment. What were your thoughts? Was it unprofessional to make that comment?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not really a question of even asking the wrong question. It's a question of not even asking the right questions and really interrogating this story. And effectively, parts of the media are colluding with the White House and falling for their spin.
Yeah, well said. Stephen, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, look, it's always been the way the White House press gallery is, or not, they call it the press gallery over there, the press room, and the press secretary has always operated like that. They always play as a defence mechanism for the president. So I'm not surprised by the scolding of it, but you've got to ask the question, what other choice do they have now? If they're going to defend Biden's competency, they've got to come out on the attack. They have no other choice but to rail back against the criticisms from their own side of the media that the bloke's not up to it anymore.
I completely agree. The next couple of months are going to be crazy.